All right.
Okay,
So we're back, and so we're gonna run back through this. And thank you guys so much for being patient. You guys pray for CenturyTel, man. CenturyTel, just let the devil use them. So hope you guys can all come back on, because definitely want to make sure we share this information. And again, share the video. I know it's going to be an asset to somebody in some marriage. So what we're really talking about is that we go back and rehash this thing. What we're really emphasizing, the benefit of having a healthy sex life in a marriage.
right.
It's absolutely important, totally viable. It's a mandate. And hey, Megan, thank you.
Hey, Max.
Hey, let us know if you can hear us, you can see us well. Let us know if all the buffering is gone, and hope everybody gets back on. But again, sex is a vital element of a healthy marriage.
Right.
Sex is not just for procreation. Sex was supposed to be for enjoyment. God says everything He gave us is good, including our sex life.
Right.
So there's benefits of it: the closeness, the intimacy, the enjoyment. And we said that sex should be prioritized. It should be a regular part of our marriage. It should be something that we emphasize we want to have on a regular basis. I think one of the wonderful things that a couple can do is be open and honest about their sex life. So it shouldn't be a mystery. Shouldn't have to wonder. We should be able to have a good conversation about what we desire, what we need, and what we expect, and how we can fulfill each other.
Right. I agree. So, what first thing we said that sex should be prioritized. It's important. We got to make sure we do that. We talked about
sex should
scheduling.
be protected.
Yes. Well, then I was going to say we talked about scheduling, and that it doesn't take the romance or the spontaneity out of it, but it makes me feel like I'm prioritized. If you say, okay, we have super busy lives like most people do, the children are playing, travel ball, and we're all over the place and doing all these things, for you to take the time to prioritize me means that I'm special. And then we said sex should be protected.
Sex should be protected. I agree.
Protected.
Sex should be protected. We should protect our sex life from outside influences. We should protect our sex life from outside individuals.
Invited or uninvited.
Invited or uninvited. So that means we don't want to make our sex life a public part.
Yeah.
Everybody can come and play on the rides.
That's good.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's good.
Really, because when you start doing that, again, First Lady talked about, you start opening up. A lot of people don't believe in the concept of this concept of soul ties, and you really start developing other habits, other ideas, and then you putting your spouse in a position that they have to compete.
Right.
You don't want to put spouse in a position that you're now evaluating them against somebody else. That's not fair.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things that I even talk to men even about pornography. That can be inviting people in. That could, especially when they have their own little private stuff, and they can be inviting people into their sex life. That, quite honestly, my wife and I say all the time, that ain't real.
No, it's not.
That woman has not had 3 children. And she ain't been to work from 8 to 5. And so why you ain't doing what she doing? Well, because that girl is 17 years old. I'm 45. On my best day, I can't do it. And if I do it, I'm going to end up at the hospital. So I think many times we start setting unfair expectations on our spouses when we invite other people in who don't respect your marriage, who don't respect what you're doing. And that's very dangerous. It's a dangerous game.
And then I want to say this too, if you think about, especially as we get older, in our 40s and 50s and even 60s, 70s, whatever, as we get older, then there are health challenges and things that, may happen and may go on. So sometimes you have to learn how to be more creative. A health challenge or, something going on should not be a hindrance and make you feel like I don't want to have sex with my spouse. You just have to be more creative. You have to figure out things that helps you learn to do things that, a little more exciting and a little more creative, and makes it a little more fun.
Absolutely. And I think that what comes up into this thing is what we cannot stress enough: a healthy dialogue about your sex life.
Right.
And we can talk about bills, we can talk about children, and talk about all these things where we want to move, we want to live, that are vital parts of our marriage. But our sex life is just as vital.
Right, absolutely.
And I was teaching a few weeks ago on the reason why people have conflict and strife in their relationships. And it's many times because you didn't hear me the first 12 times.
Right.
People raise volume when they have not been heard. So
Right.
we want to set a stage, really sit down and say, okay, what do you want what do you need from me sexually? What can I do for you
Right.
sexually? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? What are your
Right.
needs?
Absolutely.
What are some of your desires, some of your fantasies? And then you start negotiating. Well, listen, you want 5 days, I can give you 5 days a week, I can give you 3.5.
What's the half?
Well, we cup up that night. So, we cup up, we talk about it.
That's the half.
That's the half. So honestly, my wife and I, we even have a conversation there, and we'll say, listen, you can either get a quick one tonight. But I want to be comfortable enough to say they have this comfort. Listen, we've had a long day. We had a long week. We can either bang one out tonight.
Don't say bang one out.
We can have a quick one tonight, or we can rest up, schedule this thing, and tomorrow we have a barn burner. I think that's fairness for us to be able to communicate, and don't make me feel bad about what I want.
Exactly.
And see, this is powerful. The Bible says of Adam and Eve that they were able to be naked and not ashamed, which means they were able to share everything without criticism, without condemnation, without being told that it's crazy.
Right.
Listen, I want to be pastor. I'm crying. Hey, too real. I'm just too real. I want us to have time, and this is what I want, and these are the things that I want to explore, and these are the things that I desire, and I just don't like this, and this is a conversation that needs to be had, because if you can have this, Megan said this is so awkward. Oh God.
Well, this
just
is the
just
thing.
get off, Megan. Just get off.
Well, the thing about it is, and it's like, I'd rather have the dialogue, because I'd rather let you know that I am really, really tired, and I can give you a little quick one, and you understand that, or half, and or we can wait, and I can give you full 100. Because I'd rather do that than for you to be mad and have an attitude, or if I go ahead and just say, okay, well, I know he mad, let me just go ahead and do it, and then it's horrible because I don't feel like it, I'm exhausted, and then he don't get the fullness of it, so now he's even more mad and aggravated. So I'd rather just have the conversation. I think a lot of times people are just intimidated to talk about sex and to talk about it with their spouse, and just to say, hey, these are the things that I need, and these are the things that I want to do. And yet, and like a lot of times we laugh about it, we make a joke about it, I think sometimes you have to learn how to, laugh at yourself and be comfortable enough with each other to have a conversation that will eliminate a lot of pressure, a lot of problems, especially, how if one person want to have sex that night, they didn't say anything to the other person, and then they're walking around mad the next day because the person didn't do it, and they say, well, you should have knew I wanted to. No, have the conversations. You have to talk. That's not fair. We're not mind readers.
Absolutely. Well, what happens is, I believe you can either have dialogue, or you can have disappointment,
right,
or you can get divorced.
Yeah.
Those are your three options. We can have dialogue, we can be disappointed, or we can be divorced. Let's have the dialogue.
Yeah.
And this is negotiation, because 1 Corinthians 7 says, it is my wife's job to do what's pleasing to me. It's my job to do what's pleasing to my wife.
Right.
So if what is pleasing to me is to have sex, what's pleasing to her is to not have sex tonight. Now we're competing to see. She's trying to have sex because even though she's tired, she don't want to. I'm trying not to because I want to, but she's tired. If we get in a competition to make life comfortable for our spouse, we will always be in a healthy fight.
Right.
A healthy fight. Know what's best for you, and that's when couples can appreciate each other. Now, is it easy? It ain't always easy. Can it be done? Absolutely. But it's a conversation that has to be had. And I really feel like we got stuck there for a minute, because I think this is the key to all of this.
Right. I think the
all
dialogue
of this
is really
being able to dialogue about what I like, what I don't like, what I want, what I don't want.
And even think about this though, even like in the dialogue, because a lot of issues that people have in their sex lives is like past hurts and things that happened years ago. There could have been molestation.
Absolutely.
There could
That's
be
really good.
rape. There could be, adultery. There could be all kinds of things. And so when you don't dialogue and you don't talk to each other, then it's really hard for that other person to understand really what you're going through. Because a lot of times there's some things that help you need to get healed and whole so that you can have a healthy sex life. But until you dialogue and let the other person know that, then, all they're doing, they're mad because they just think you don't want to.
Hey, I hope you guys are sharing this video because, I've had several people say thank you for being transparent. Thank you for our honesty. This is the kind of stuff that you can't always get everywhere, especially from a Christian perspective. And I believe that Christians should be able to get honest information from a godly perspective and not have to find how we need to live from somebody who does not appreciate our values.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, and so,
I'm thinking about this.
Girl, that's not a half, that's a quarter. What you just tell me, that's a quarter.
But no, think about it like this though. Because we see so many people, that were together before and they were just having sex and having sex and having sex. And then they got married or they were married and they were having sex and having sex and then they got saved. And then all of a sudden when they got saved, it was like sex was wrong.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's, God intended for sex to be amazing. I just don't understand, why you would change because you got saved. Mm-hmm. Now, let me say this. I'm sure that there may be some things you want to change. If you was having orgies and threesomes and all that kind of stuff, okay, yeah, let's change that. But once you got saved, sex should become so much more intimate and so much more passionate and not, we hear couples say that all the time, like a wife, she'll just be like, okay, we're not supposed to do that. We can't do different positions. We can't, that's not in the Bible.
Well, and I think all of this again boils down to a communication and a comfort level because we even want to be able to have, and see, maturity is reflected when we can have open, honest conversations and with grown people because we want to be open enough to say, hey, I don't like you kissing on my neck.
Yes.
I love you, but I don't like that. And what do you mean? All my other girlfriends like that. Well, those are your 16-year-old girlfriends. I got to go to church. I don't want no hickey.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just talking now. And these are conversations because we want it to be fulfilling for both parties.
Right.
And we have to balance out these desires. You may love hickeys, may love giving them, but this guy has to go into work. And in corporate America, he can't go in like that.
Right.
And so we have to be conscious of these things are not enjoyable to me because we want everybody to come out of this thing happy.
Right.
Exactly. And you'd be amazed, man. Really would be amazed at what you would find if you would say, listen, let's talk about our sex life tonight. What things about it do you enjoy? What things about it do you not enjoy so much? What things would you like to change? Mm-hmm. What things do you need from me? Or what things, make you feel more special? Right. Or the things that what really turns you on or what turns you off?
Right.
All these things have to be conversations.
You have to be comfortable with, too, not being frustrated that the thing you love is not the thing they love.
Absolutely.
Like I'm a back person. You just rub my back and I just love, that's just like, that's the best thing since sliced bread. Well, everybody's not a back person. And I can't be mad if I rub his back and he's like, talk about what your likes and dislikes are. Mm-hmm. Talk about it because that way you won't be spending unnecessary time doing something that the person don't like anyway. Why are you laughing? What?
I'm like, Megan, nah, that's so awkward. You be like, just rub. This dude don't get his hand off my shoulder. She getting warmed up, boss. That girl is not getting warmed up. You just making her elbow hurt. And so, again, we have to have these honest conversations because we want to have a good, healthy sex life.
Yeah.
We want to talk about this thing and choose to not be offended.
Right.
That's one of the toughest parts. Choose to not be offended because your spouse has a right to say, those things that you wear are not attractive, or take a shower first. I'm really not being funny. That hey, take a shower first.
Because I'm a smells person. I like smells. I love good smells and cologne and smell goods and stuff. So If that's who you are, you should be able to sit down and say, hey, I need you to be real clean.
Right. And these are things, and I mean, to say, hey, come to bed and wear cologne. I enjoy when you wear cologne to bed, or I enjoy when you do this. This is what it takes to be fulfilled. I can't say enough. Then we'll move. You can dialogue. You can be disappointed, or you can be divorced, because marriages do break up over sex, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So sex has to be a part of marriage. Sex should be prioritized. It's something that we value and we emphasize and we schedule and we communicate about. Sex should be protected. It's protected from outside influences and outside individuals. Florisha, get off this.
And let me say this too. And a lot of times, a lot of times though, when we say sex should be protected, a lot of times the unprotection is that word comes when, because we're not having the dialogue, because we're not talking about sex, we're leaving the door open. Now listen, I'm not saying that anybody has a right to go out and cheat, because you should not do that. That's not what you're supposed to do. Nobody, nobody should go out and do that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times when you're not being fulfilled at home, you're not having the dialogue, and you're not fulfilling each other's needs, you leave yourself sometimes open and vulnerable for that other person to come in, or for the enemy to come in. For the enemy to come in and start making you feel a certain kind of way that your wife doesn't make you feel, or that your husband doesn't make you feel. So you gird yourself up. The Bible tells us that we are supposed to know the tactics of the devil. We are not to be ignorant of his devices, and that is one of his devices, is to get us all messed up and get us not talking to each other. And then we get out there and we go to our job, and that man or that woman says something, the thing that we wanted them to say. And I'm going to say this. Let me just say this. When you go on and you're talking to people and these other women and other men and telling them this is what my wife doesn't do, or this is what my husband doesn't do. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to do all the stuff that you said that they're not going to do. They're playing you. They just playing you. They're manipulating you, because you're telling them every single thing that you don't like, or you want your spouse to do. And guess what? They're going to try to do all those things. They are playing you. I'm just saying, that's just my soapbox. I'm on.
Absolutely. And again, we can't discuss this enough. And this is many times a tough conversation. And many times people get offended at it, but I want to have this conversation with you, because I want us to know what we both want.
Right.
Even though it may be a painful conversation, a tense conversation, what we need and desire, it's a conversation that we need. Even if we cry tonight, if we upset tonight, but we stay together for the next 30 years, it was worth this night for the rest of our lives. So sex should be prioritized. Sex should be protected. And sex should be passionate. Sex should be passionate, and it should be passionate. That's a half. That ain't quite a half.
Now that was a quarter.
That was a quarter.
Yeah.
That's a quarter. I take it. Just put all of them in a can. Eventually get up to $1. Sex should be passionate. This is so funny, man. You mess around and go through the book of Song of Solomon. Solomon spit game like crazy. Solomon was like, girl. He said,
Proverbs 5:19. She is a loving deer, a graceful doe. Let her breast satisfy you always. May you always be captivated by her love.
And that was the soft stuff. That was the soft stuff.
Yeah.
Man, Solomon spit game, boss. Solomon's like, hey, girl, when I stroke and rub and like Hugh of Mount Dermot and down your backside, man, he talked about, man, we gonna bone chicken one. And so there is a place for passion in our sex lives. Now we have to. Now passion is you define passion,
right? Absolutely.
I say, and they talk about, and I say this, but don't nobody want no cold fish. No, it's just. I don't mean fish meaning that. I mean, just come on.
Don't nobody, you want some emotion. Don't nobody want, a non-emotional person. Yeah.
We'll say it her way. My way is, you know, all right, come on. That's not enticing. That's not engaging. That's not inviting.
Unless it's like something fun and you like riding down the street, you're on the side of the road, say, hey, come on, let's go, that's fun. That kind of fun. You can do that. But why, Manny, why are you on this thing, Manny?
Hey, I almost turned this live off on y'all. I almost turned this live off and grabbed the keys to the car. No, listen. No, really though, we want these things to be passionate. We want to enjoy this. We don't just want to. Okay, come on, because it's supposed to be passionate. Now we've discussed time frames. We've discussed sensitivity to our bodies and age, and we've discussed family issues. Like there's stages of life where you're just not as spontaneous, and nobody had to sleep. When we had little babies, you got to get in where you fit in,
right,
because
right.
They were, I almost said something really graphic.
Don't say it.
They were obstacles to a healthy sex life.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
If we were still in high school, I'd say
no, you wouldn't say it. Don't say it.
So I have to understand that at different stages of life, we got to be as passionate as we can be. But there should be some passion. We build a passion by talking about it. Right? We build a passion by talking about what we're going to do and talking about what we desire. And we build a passion by flirting along the way and sending texts and, making phone calls. And if you want to,
Because women, our sex starts before the bedroom.
Be graphic. What does be graphic mean?
She said, be graphic. Ooh, Danica, you just want to be messy. But for women, a lot of women, our sex starts before the bedroom. It's not just, so like you said, you got to build it up. You got to make it passionate. But our enjoyment starts in our minds. It's like, well, okay, if you come home from work, and you got to wash dishes, and you got to fold some clothes, and you got to get the kids in bed, and all that. You just really haven't had time to think about being passionate and sexy. Mm-hmm. So what I say is, that's again going back to the dialogue. Listen, okay, I remember sometimes we would say, okay, we'll call each other, we would get ready to leave work. Okay, when I get home, okay, I'm going to put the kids in the tub. You're going to do this, we're going to do that. And we divide out those duties so that we can make it both to the bedroom at the same time. It's not like you're in the bedroom waiting on me and I'm still up 2 hours later mopping and sweeping and all that stuff. Because see, by that time, if I'm still mopping and sweeping and doing stuff and you and that just propped up, laid back, waiting on me to come, I'm mad now because I'm exhausted and tired and I'm mad and I'm tired and you and that just waiting on me. So, it starts, we like to romance our minds and see, we love gifts and things like that. Like when you buy us stuff, you just come home with something real cute. Oh.
Mm-hmm. What's really interesting about that too. First Lady brought out a great point, because even in our notes we talked about passion includes both individuals' interest and mm-hmm. initiation, and you'd be amazed at how many men. And hopefully I got some men on here. How many men? Many times, one of the things they say is most attractive is when their wife initiates sex.
I've heard that. Mm-hmm.
That I just feel like he should initiate and he should always be the aggressor. And you again, this is what mm-hmm. needs to be a conversation, because every man may not be the same, but many men and women don't always know this. They always appreciate when many men think that's really enticing and sexy when their spouse, their wife, approaches them mm-hmm. and they initiate, and and just like the wife comes home and he has flowers and he has whatever she likes or
right.
gifts or whatever, and he come home and she has on some frills, or she's
right.
planned this night out, or she's done something nice for him. It needs to be reciprocated right. because we want to engage
right.
and everybody enjoy. And so you may need to mix some things up, because that's what keeps it from becoming stagnant. Right. That we get in a routine. That we're going to get in the bed and saying, I'm going to do this and she going to do this. And, God, I'm trying to not be real graphic, and we going to, count to 30, we done. Well, let's mix this thing up, and I'm telling you, you'll be amazed. The day I found out that hot sauce was better on wings than ketchup, my life changed. And it's because one day I was at the register and I said, hey, I'm going to take a chance. The person in front of me got hot sauce, extra hot sauce. I'm going to take a chance. And my life was changed. Don't get stagnant.
Right.
Push the envelope within the scope of your comfort level. Push the envelope and discuss this. So, and it needs to be, again, something that everybody's interested in, and swap initiating. Mm-hmm. You got it. Last thing we're going to say is hope you guys are enjoying this. If you have any questions, anything that we need to talk about, put your questions in, put your comments in. Great thing about Facebook Live is we can be interactive. But sex should be a part of marriage. Sex should be prioritized. Sex should be protected. Sex should be passionate. And sex should be pure. Now this is real deep. Sex should be pure. And what we define as pure is our sex life should be what is enjoyable and heartfelt between the two of us.
Right.
First Lady and I don't have the right to dictate anybody's sex life.
Right.
Bible says that the marriage bed is undefiled. So this bed is we tell people ask us, well, can you do this? Can you do that? Well, you can't do it with me, but can you guys agree that it's enjoyable and acceptable for
right.
both of you?
Right.
Because I don't believe a healthy sex life should be abusive or demeaning
right.
to either one of us.
Exactly.
If the things you ask me to do are I feel that they're abusive, that's not pure.
Right.
Because you're getting enjoyment out of my pain. Or if what you ask me to do is demeaning, that you're getting joy out of my shame. I can't enjoy when you're embarrassed.
Right.
So there may be some things that I want to do that I really would love to do. However, because of who you are in my life, if it's abusive to you or painful, I don't want to do that. Now, I know sometimes, women have fibroid tumors, those kind of things. It even makes regular sex. Is that fibroid tumors?
Yeah, fibroid tumors.
Those kind of things that even make regular sex painful. And, so we have to be sensitive to those kind of things. And again, find the best that you can do and be creative and have open conversation. Have open conversation about what do we need to do to try to compensate. But outside of health issues, right. If the things that you desire are demeaning to me or painful and embarrassing,
right.
That's not pure.
Right.
What's pure is when we both walk away. Oh, this is something that I meant to come back to when we start talking about communication. Because even if there are issues or things in my life, like First Lady brought up, rape, molestation, abuse, all those things, mm-hmm. that they put up a wall and right. cause me to view sex in a violent right. or dirty way.
Right.
We need to have this conversation because many times we have couples and they don't enjoy their sex life.
Right.
And it's because you're projecting the pain of your previous sex life onto our relationship.
Right.
So let's get some help.
Right.
Let's get some help. Let's talk to somebody. Let's put in the work because we want this thing to be good for both of us.
Right.
And so I can't say it enough, but have some open, honest conversations about what help do we need to get because
and I'm gonna say this, saying things like, because we kind of alluded to that earlier, saying things like, well, why you won't do that? Well, my old girlfriend did that, or that's awful, or this is the one I've heard some people, have people tell me that have been said to them, and it just I don't know, it makes me just go, I don't know, but if you don't do it, somebody will. Come on, you don't want to say that to us. And then that's not even because you got to think about it. You need relationship outside of the bed. After the sex is over, if a person really does it in duress, after the sex is over, you're going to have a relationship outside of that bed. And what kind of relationship is that going to create?
Right.
So my thing is, if I'm always just having sex with you because I feel like that's my obligation, I'm under duress, and outside, and I'm afraid, then that's not even a healthy relationship. So it's not even about just the sex, but what kind of relationship you want to have with that person outside of the bed. I don't want to feel like I'm under duress or I feel like I have to do something because, you'll have people that say, well, okay, fine, go and do that then. The next thing you know, you got a whole marriage just messed up and people doing crazy stuff, and you end up divorcing. And you don't even realize what happened, and all it took was a conversation to sit down and talk about things that were going on in your relationship.
I really think if we will grab this, that satisfied or not, fulfilled or not, if my spouse thinks enough of our marriage to start a conversation about our sex life,
Right.
they want to be married.
Right.
That, okay, I don't want to do that. Okay, I may not have been the best I should have been. I may not have been as sensitive. But the fact that you will at least sit down and have a conversation about it says you want it to be better. It is really no different than if your employer walked in and said, you better put them things in before I fire you.
Right.
You don't put them in, you're going to get fired.
Absolutely.
After so long, you can't focus on the job because you're worried about getting fired.
Getting fired. Right.
You don't enjoy the job anymore because I used to work with a guy every day. He thought he couldn't, he just knew he was going to get laid off. And he was like, I don't want to mess up because they're going to lay folks off. And he was so worried about getting laid off, he started messing up. Mm-hmm. Because he did not enjoy his job. His job was a threat and a fear. That's not healthy marriage.
That's not healthy marriage.
And fear is not going to cause passion. No. Fear is not going to cause purity. Fear ain't going to cause passion. You got it? So, hey man, I hope you guys.
One more thing.
Sure.
No, I just want to say this.
That's a half.
I just wanted to say this too, though. But I know a lot of times in relationships, especially when you're saved, you don't, sometimes you are confused about what's right and what's wrong. And so what I want to say is I pulled James 1:5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given unto him. That's what Holy Spirit is for. If you know that, this is what I say, you listen to the Holy Spirit. If you want to do something, you and your spouse, even if you guys are in agreement with it, and you feel like, oh, I'm not sure if that's right, pray about it, ask God, and Holy Spirit will let you know. He will tell you if that is something that he feels like it's okay, because there are a lot of areas sometimes that seem a little gray. So, nobody can really tell you. You just have to listen to Holy Spirit on that. But I just want to,
that's
throw
good.
it out there.
I think you listen to the Holy Spirit and you listen to your spouse.
Right.
You listen to your spouse, and again, you may be willing to say, hey, I never thought about that, but I'll try.
Right.
And give me the right that if I don't like it, I didn't like that.
I didn't like it, and I don't want to do it again.
I didn't like that because, again, you want to be passionate. Passion is potential outside of the box. But it has to be within the concept. But we say, and I just take liberty to say this, without inviting outside influences and individuals. Mm-hmm. Whatever you can do without inviting outside individuals, I think you explore. Mm-hmm. When you start inviting other individuals into your sex life, you've now invited. Okay, here it is. If they didn't stand at the altar when you married, they shouldn't be in the bed.
There you go.
Except for the preacher. Preacher was there. Don't invite him.
Well, and then in the bridesmaids and all that stuff. Not
I'm talking about right there.
Right
there, under the arches.
Yeah.
Just under the arches. Yeah.
Hey, because somebody might say, well, bridesmaids was up there.
This is 2018. You just never know. But no, whatever works within the confines of those two people that stood at that altar, we're going to try as much as we can. Right. I say it. We're going to try as much. Listen, how did you find out the hot sauce is good on ketchup? How did you find out that you could boil potatoes? How did you find out that you could fry potatoes? We tried. We explored. We push the envelope. That's why men fly now and don't just drive.
Right.
This is why we have helicopters and airplanes and not just boats and bicycles, because we push the envelope. But we push the envelope within the scope of what is comfortable for both of us.
Right.
Explore some stuff. Try some stuff. Talk about it and be safe and be sensitive and be sexy. I put that through that essay and be sexy. Be sexy. Yeah. So, hey. you guys get that, man. Enjoyed you guys tonight.
Well,
It's
we enjoyed
7:50.
you.
We apologize for the technical difficulties a little earlier.
So do we need to delete the first one?
Yeah, we'll delete the first
Okay.
one. We'll delete the first one. Hey, thank you guys.
Thank
for
you
tuning
guys for tuning in. Hopefully this will help you.
Hey, and always make sure you like us on like the Taylor Made Marriage page on Facebook. Have a lot of devotionals, great stuff that we put in there. A lot of people say that, quite honestly, this is one of the best marriage pages that they've come across because it's just real talk. It's not just a bunch of memes and graphics. It is real talk.
Right.
That's what we do. We teach life, teach people
Yeah,
how
I
to
got my
live.
teach
So,
life.
yeah, I got on my "Can I Pray for You" T-shirt. But we teach people how to live. So follow that. Make sure you follow share this video, man. Share this video. Last thing I say, share the video. You never know. A little Facebook may save somebody's marriage.
Absolutely.
So love you guys so much.
Love you guys. Thank you, Taylor Made.
See
You
you
rock.
soon. I'll let you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night.